I'm sorry, guys. Normally I'm a really upbeat person, but sometimes things just have to be said, and today I'm gonna say them. In our last video, I put a lot of time, effort, talent, and even our own cost into putting together an awesome analysis and sharing that with you guys. And then the trolls showed up and just ate me alive in the comments. It bothered me so much, I took a lot of time to try to respond to a lot of them and explain myself even further. And I could not get through. It was really bugging me. I had a hard time sleeping. I came in this morning and I just wanted to vent it out to my team. And then they told me they actually kind of agreed with the comments. Now that was really hard to hear, but I have to accept that maybe the trolls were right.
Okay, this is where I come into the video. So your last video was good, and most people liked it. But I honestly saw the problem too, that many comments did as well, pointing out that you did miss one aspect of it. So the example that you used, which was a good example, is about Datnoid Care, the fish care. And so we said, oh, whatever, we get 2,000 page views a month on this article on Datnoid Care. But we look in the tools, and the keyword research tools say that search phrase only has whatever 150 searches a month, right? And you made the point in the video, you said, well, yeah, because it can rank for adjacent search terms, so that explains some of the disparity. But the study wasn't quite done right, because if you had used Google Search Console impression data for that phrase, it would have been exactly what we needed, right. And we didn't quite get that, and so a lot of people wanted to point that out.
Right. So
but it stings to hurt when you put your heart into something and it just...
In the end, I just totally drew the wrong conclusion. In reality, all I cared to show, because I don't really care how many impressions an article gets on a specific search term. Mm-hmm. What I want to know is how much traffic it's going to get.
Right.
And the conclusion is search volume is not a good indicator of potential traffic. It's not what I said. I got it wrong.
And I promise to be better.
And that was so hard to hear.
But you're not the only one.
I'm
You're not the only one. So January, we're doing the Ultimate Content Warrior Challenge, giving out blogging challenges. And then people are submitting their blog posts in the challenge, and we're giving feedback on each of them. And it's been so hard for all of us as we're going through, where we see something that, the content is not there, and we do need to give it a low score because it is a contest. But you know that's going to impact somebody, and it's going to sting.
I'm always thinking like, man, this is going to hurt this guy's feelings.
Yeah.
And
so we did. So there was one in the last challenge that someone got a score of 1, which I think was overly harsh.
Yeah.
But this is what they submitted, and the title was 5 passive income ideas, something like that.
That you can start now. I mean, it was...
Yeah, you start from home.
Yeah.
So don't miss, and the emoji we put on to protect anonymity, don't miss these money-making methods. That's going to hurt a video. People are going to make fun of this. And so in a contest on how to make a great thumbnail, a major mistake in the spelling there is going to stick out. Plus, it just wasn't a very spreadable idea. We know that space, and that's too vanilla to really get the traffic there. And so it didn't do well. Plus, the hand feels like it's floating. But sending that feedback, and the person responded, and it had stung. It was in the same place that you were feeling, and all of us as content creators are there all the time, where you get feedback and it stings.
But the only way that we get any value out of that sting is if we're able to move past the sting to acceptance and then to the point of learning from it.
Yeah, it's like instead of just rejecting them and saying you're a jerk, you say like, that's a clue on how I could be successful, even if it's rude. Now, I received a text of somebody who understands this, and I think it's $1 million text, because when you as an entrepreneur can do what the person in this text that I got this week does, that's where you need to get for you to be able to quickly learn the skills necessary to succeed in content creation, and you're gonna build $1 million business. Once you have that knowledge, you're gonna get there. Here it is. This is from a Project 24 member. I've been going through YouTube channels for the last several days, and I'm seeing other people whose videos are going crazy, but it's rare that my video even gets 1,000 views. Will you give me some really blunt and straight feedback? Why do you think my channel is hovering there? Is it my manner? Is it my titles? Is it the place that I'm filming this? What am I missing? And then this last sentence, I want to get more views more than I want you to be nice to me.
It gives me
love
chills.
That. I love it. This is where we need to be if you're going to really succeed on YouTube, in blogging, because it's myriad skills that need to be learned. Right. It's sometimes we look at it and it's like, yeah, you're just missing this one thing. Other than that, you'd succeed. Rarely is that the case though. Usually it's 40 things that combined, the content isn't there.
Exactly. And like people say that, right? They say, just give me feedback. I want it blunt. And then you start giving them that feedback. And as soon as you start getting helpful, their ego kicks in. And they're like, oh yeah, well, of course. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I think you're right, but I knew that. I just need to be better. Like, we see that all the time. We do it all the time. It's not helpful if we can't shut off the ego a little bit and be able to actually learn.
So this channel is called Dog Focus Training. You can go look at it. It's not a bad channel. It's 80% of the way there. Like, it's close every time, but it just falls short on a few little things. And so he's in a spot where he can learn it. You, last year, didn't create your super successful business, probably, or else you might not be watching this channel, right? Like, the person that you were a year ago, whatever, didn't have the gumption to start it, didn't quite get it right enough content, didn't even know about this, whatever. But the person you were in 2020 didn't start that $1 million business. And so we need to become the kind of person that is going to do those things, or that has learned about them, right? And so it will require a change. It's going to require a change in you and us. And so if when you get this negative feedback from us, from YouTube comments, from anywhere, if we let it sting for a second, we move past that and we take it as a clue to how we could be better, that's how we grow. Now, we saw a very negative example of this on a channel where you knew it would sting. And we've both watched this channel quite a few times. It's a lady that, she's great, her and her husband, but she does have kind of a
little bit higher nasally kind of voice, right?
Right. And so a lot of the comments are like, oh, you invited a chipmunk into the video, right? Yeah. And you can tell.
It's mean, right? Like, it's
what
mean.
A jerk comment. So what do you do with that? Like, are really all rude clues, negative comments valuable?
I do think that there's still some value in there because, first of all, it didn't happen just once. There are a lot of comments on a lot of videos pointing out this same issue. So it may be a little bit of a distraction for the people that are watching the video. It prevents them from being able to get from the video what they should be able to get from the video. And it prevents the content creator from being able to get across the message they want to get across. So what do you do about it? You don't necessarily need to change your body image, your voice, your whatever, but maybe we can learn something. Maybe we need to get a microphone that accentuates the low end better. A lot of lav mics, our lav mics, are a little tinny, a little bit on the high end. Let's get a mic that's going to help with that. Let's see what we can do to just make that less of an issue.
It's about the fixed mindset. Yeah. You can get that comment and say, well, that's who I am.
It's my voice. I'm not going to change that. Yeah.
But actually there are things. Sometimes people make a jerk comment, hey, fatso, whatever, or like, you look ugly, right? And it's like, you can just say, you're a jerk and move on, and the sting just stays. Or you can say, something about my manner made them feel like they needed to cut me down. Maybe I wasn't super likable.
That's right. It's not always about the voice. It's not always about the fatso. It's not always about that at all. It may just be about somebody felt a need to knock you off that high horse.
So let's get some feedback. Go into the Project 24 community, post your stuff, see what people think, ask your friends, go put yourself out there, because all the negativity that you're going to receive is only going to make you better.